Yo, what's good everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button and join the fam. We're all about breaking down the big stories in a way that actually makes sense. Today, we're diving deep into Donald Trump's wild Middle East trip from May 2025. This wasn't just some photo op tour. Trump hit up Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates, locking in massive deals, throwing shade at Iran, and hyping up America's military like it's the ultimate superhero. But here's the twist. He totally skipped Israel, and people are losing it. Is this a brilliant chess move, or is Trump risking it all? We're gonna unpack everything, the billion-dollar wins, the drama with Iran, and what's really going on with Israel. Is Trump playing 4D chess with his buddy Netanyahu, or are they drifting apart? And why should you, right here in America, care? Grab a snack, maybe a coffee, and let's get into it. This is gonna be a juicy one, and by the end, you'll be the expert on Trump's Middle East game plan. Stick around, hit that like button, and let's roll. All right, let's set the scene. On May 13, 2025, Trump lands in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, ready to make waves. This guy doesn't do small. He's all about the big splash. And that's exactly what he did. Saudi Arabia rolled out the red carpet, and Trump walked away with $600 billion in trade deals. We're talking investments in tech, energy, and infrastructure. Stuff that's going to create jobs back in places like Michigan and Pennsylvania. Imagine factories humming, workers building cutting-edge gear, all because of these deals. That's the kind of win Trump loves to brag about. Next stop, Qatar. Here, Trump sealed a deal for 160 fighter jets, American-made, baby. That's a huge boost for companies like Boeing, and it means more jobs in states like Missouri and Washington. Qatar's not just buying planes, they're betting on America's strength. Then, in the UAE, Trump went full futurist, signing AI partnerships. The Emiratis are pouring money into US tech firms to build the next big thing in artificial intelligence. Think self-driving cars, smarter cities. That's the future, and America's leading the charge. But it's not just about the money. Trump made some bold political moves that shook things up. He announced the US is lifting sanctions on Syria, saying it's time to give them a chance to rebuild after years of war. In Damascus, people hit the streets, waving Syrian and Saudi flags, celebrating like it's a new day. Reuters reported crowds chanting for a fresh start. That's a big shift. Trump's basically saying, let's move on from the old fights. Another huge move? A ceasefire with the Houthis in Yemen. These guys have been firing missiles, causing chaos, but Trump got them to agree to chill. No more US airstrikes, and the Houthis promised to hold off on attacks, even against Israel. That's a risky bet. But if it holds, it could mean less violence in a region that's been a mess for years. For Americans, this is huge. Fewer conflicts mean fewer troops deployed, less taxpayer money spent, and maybe even lower gas prices if the region calms down. Money spent, and maybe even lower gas prices if the region calms down. Why does this matter to you? These deals aren't just numbers on a page. They're about jobs in your hometown, keeping America's economy strong, and showing the world we're still the boss. Saudi Arabia's investing in our future, Qatar's buying our planes, and the UAE's teaming up on tech. Plus, less fighting in places like Yemen means we're not stuck refereeing another war. But not everyone's cheering. Some folks back home are worried Trump's moving too fast, and the Middle East is never predictable. What do you think? Drop a comment and let me know. Now let's get to the spicy part, Iran. Trump's never been one to hold back, and he went hard during this trip. In his big speech in Riyadh on May 14th, he lit into Iran like it was personal. Iran's regime is a destabilizing force, he said, voice booming. They fuel chaos from Syria to Yemen, backing terrorists like Hezbollah and chasing nuclear weapons. He wasn't done. We will not let Iran threaten the world, he declared, staring down the crowd like he meant business. That's Trump at his core, big, bold, and not afraid to call out his enemies. This wasn't just talk for the cameras. Trump's words sent a message to the whole region. America's watching Iran, and we're not playing games. He even took a jab at their pride, floating the idea of renaming the Persian Gulf the Arabian Gulf. To Iran, that's like renaming Texas New Mexico. It's a massive insult. Their leaders fired back, calling it disrespectful and warning of serious consequences, according to The Guardian. The crowd in Saudi Arabia ate it up, though. They've got no love for Iran. But here's where it gets wild. Even with all this tough talk, Trump's team is quietly negotiating with Iran. Yeah, you heard me right. After ripping up the Iran nuclear deal in 2018, Trump's now trying to hammer out a new one. Reuters says the goal is to limit Iran's nuclear program in exchange for easing some economic sanctions. Why the flip? Because a nuclear-armed Iran is a disaster for America, for Israel, for the whole Middle East. If Iran gets the bomb, it could spark a regional arms race or worse. Trump's playing good cop, bad cop, talking tough while his diplomats work behind closed doors. This is a big deal for the region. Iran's got its fingers in a lot of pies: Syria, Lebanon, Yemen, you name it. They back groups like Hezbollah, which fights Israel, and they've got a beef with Saudi Arabia that goes back decades. Trump's moves are shaking things up. Saudi Arabia and the UAE are cheering his hard line, but they're nervous about any deal that might let Iran off the hook. Meanwhile, Iran's playing it cool, saying they'll talk but won't bow to pressure. For Americans, this is about keeping things stable. If Trump's deal works, it could mean fewer headaches in the Middle East. No nuclear crisis, no new wars. But if it flops, we're looking at higher oil prices, maybe even US troops getting dragged into another conflict. Think about it. When the Middle East heats up, you feel it at the gas pump. Plus, Iran's got a history of playing hardball, so Trump's got to tread carefully. What's your take? Is Trump right to negotiate with Iran, or should he stick to the tough talk? Let me know in the comments. All right, let's talk about the big question mark: Israel. If you know Trump, you know he's been Israel's biggest cheerleader. Back in 2020, he brokered the Abraham Accords, a game-changing deal that got the UAE and Bahrain to make peace with Israel. It was huge. Countries that used to be enemies started trading, flying direct flights, even teaming up on tech. Trump also moved the US embassy to Jerusalem in 2017, saying, "Israel's capital deserves respect." That move made him a hero to a lot of Israelis. So why in 2025 did he skip Israel on this trip? Here's the scoop. Trump visited Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE, but Israel wasn't on the itinerary. That's raised eyebrows, big time. Netanyahu's team is keeping quiet, but sources like Reuters say they're dismayed. Israel's used to being the star of the show when US presidents visit the Middle East, so getting left out stings. It's like your best friend throwing a party and not inviting you. To make it weirder, Trump's team negotiated directly with Hamas. Yep, the group Israel's fighting in Gaza, to free an American-Israeli hostage named Idan Alexander. They didn't even loop Israel in. That's a bold move, and it didn't sit well in Tel Aviv. Then there's the Gaza war. Trump's been pushing Israel to wrap it up. In Qatar, he said, "This war's gone on too long. It's time for peace." His envoy, Steve Witkoff, went further, calling out Israel for dragging out the fighting. The Washington Post says Israel's feeling sidelined, especially since Trump's cozying up to Arab states like Saudi Arabia, who want a Palestinian state before they'll normalize with Israel. So, is this a real split, or is it a strategy? Let's break it down. Some experts think Trump's playing a smart game. By focusing on Saudi Arabia and Qatar, he's racking up economic wins. Think billions in deals that boost American jobs. The Saudis are dangling a big prize, normalizing ties with Israel, but only if there's progress on a Palestinian state. Trump might be giving them room to make that happen, keeping Israel on the sidelines for now. It's like he's telling Netanyahu, "Hold tight, Bibi. I'm setting the stage for something bigger." There's evidence this could be coordinated. Netanyahu's not trashing Trump publicly, which is telling. His team's sticking to diplomatic talk, saying they've got a close dialogue with the US analysts like Jonathan Panikoff from the Atlantic Council say Trump's nudging Israel to cut a deal in Gaza while he works the Gulf states. If Trump pulls off a broader peace plan, maybe even an Abraham Accords 2.0, Israel could come out stronger with more Arab allies. But it's not all rosy. Israel's got legit worries. Trump's lifting sanctions on Syria, which Israel sees as a threat. Syria's government is tight with Iran and Hezbollah. Then there's those Iran nuclear talks. Israel's terrified of any deal that might let Iran keep its nuclear dreams alive. Plus, Netanyahu's got his own problems at home. His far-right coalition wants to keep fighting in Gaza, and a ceasefire could tank his government. If Trump pushes too hard, Israel might feel backed into a corner. For Americans, this is personal. Israel's our closest ally in the region, and a lot of folks here, especially in places like Florida and New York, care deeply about its security. If Trump's strategy flops, it could mean more instability, maybe even US troops getting involved. But if it works, it could mean a stronger, safer Middle East, with more allies for America. So, what's the deal? Is Trump and Israel secretly on the same page? Or is this a risky drift? Hit the comments with your thoughts. Let's zoom out and talk about something Trump can't stop hyping: America's military. In Qatar, he gave a speech that was pure Trump. "The United States has the greatest fighting force in the world," he said, grinning ear to ear. "Nobody comes close. Our Navy rules the seas, our bases in Qatar are untouchable, and our tech is light years ahead." He wasn't just bragging, he was sending a signal. To Iran, to the Houthis, to anyone thinking of stepping out of line, America's got the muscle, and we're not afraid to use it. This isn't just talk. The US has massive bases in Qatar and the UAE, with thousands of troops ready to roll. Our Navy patrols the Persian Gulf, or Arabian Gulf if you ask Trump, keeping oil tankers safe. That's why your gas prices don't skyrocket every time there's drama in the Middle East. Trump's flexing that power to remind everyone who's boss. It's like he's saying, "We're here, we're strong, and we're not going anywhere." Why is this a big deal for you? A strong military keeps the world in check. Those bases in Qatar mean we can respond fast if Iran or anyone else stirs up trouble. The jets we're selling to Qatar, they're built in America by American workers. And the tech we're developing with the UAE, that's going to power our economy for decades. But there's a catch. If Trump's Iran talks fail, or if Israel feels abandoned, we could see tensions spike. That might mean more ships, more troops, more money spent overseas. Nobody wants another endless war. So, what's next for the Middle East? Trump set some big things in motion. If he lands a nuclear deal with Iran, it could calm the region down, keeping nukes off the table. If he gets Saudi Arabia to normalize with Israel, it'd be a massive win, building on the Abraham Accords. Picture Saudi tourists in Jerusalem, Israeli businesses in Riyadh. That's the dream. But the risks are real. Iran's not easy to deal with. They've outsmarted plenty of negotiators before. And Israel's not going to sit quietly if they feel threatened. Netanyahu's already planning a big operation in Gaza if talks fail, according to Axios. That could drag the whole region back into chaos. For Americans, this is about the stuff that hits your wallet and your life. A stable Middle East means cheaper gas, more jobs, and fewer soldiers deployed. A messy Middle East? That's $5 a gallon and headlines about another war. Trump's betting on his deal-making skills to pull this off, but it's a tightrope. The Abraham Accords showed he can deliver, but this is next level. What do you think he should do next? Let's hear it in the comments. All right, fam, let's wrap this up. Trump's Middle East trip was a roller coaster. $600 billion in deals, a ceasefire in Yemen, and a bold move to lift Syria's sanctions. He went hard on Iran, calling them out as a destabilizing force while sneaking in nuclear talks behind the scenes. And that Israel skip, it's got everyone guessing. Maybe it's a genius strategy to set up a bigger peace deal, or maybe Trump's drifting from his old ally. Either way, he's flexing America's military might, reminding the world we're the top dog. This matters to you, right here in America. Those deals mean jobs in your state. A calmer Middle East means lower prices at the pump and fewer troops overseas. But if Trump's bets don't pay off, we could be looking at trouble. So, what's your take? Is Trump a master deal maker, or is he playing with fire? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button if you're feeling this breakdown, and share this video with your crew. Don't forget to subscribe and smack that bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.